All right, I see the person's joining. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our small business owners and operators. Thank you for joining us for our webinar, Marketing Your Business in the New Norm. I'm Ingrid Card, Vice President of Group Marketing, Communications, and Brand Experience at Sagicor. I'll be your moderator for this afternoon. Thank you so very much for joining. I want to start by introducing my Sagicor peers who will be presenting this afternoon. I have with us Carolyn Shepard, Assistant Vice President Marketing for Life and General Insurance here in Barbados. Carolyn, say hi. Hi. And could you go on mute afterwards, Carolyn? Thank you. I have Marlene Chin, Assistant Vice President Marketing and General for Eastern Caribbean and Belize. Marlene.
Hi, everyone. Hi.
I have Asha Nabi, Assistant Vice President for Marketing for Life and General for Trinidad and Tobago and the Dutch Caribbean. Hi, everyone. Remember to go mute, guys, when you're finished. I have Kathy Bettles, the Manager for Digital and Social Media here for the Southern Caribbean. I have Honoré Bab. He's the Research and Analytics Specialist. I also wish to, hi, Honoré, say hi, sorry, and Kathy, say hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
I also wish to extend a very special welcome to our guests this afternoon, our small business owners who have graciously accepted our invitation to share their insights with us and success stories of surviving and thriving during COVID. And we have Julian Gregg, he's the founder of JNL Traders and the Quickly website. Julian, say hi to our
Hi, afternoon, everyone.
And then I have Lily Dash and Sophie Bannister, co-founders of YFetch. Lily and Sophie, could just say hello.
Hi.
We also have with us Eric Watson. He's a social media specialist with Grey Canada. And while we have local agencies in all our markets, Grey Canada is the global advertising agency for Sagicor. Welcome, Eric.
Hi, everyone.
And Eric is not at the beach. That's just his background picture.
I'm channeling the beach.
There you go. So over the last few months, COVID-19 has significantly impacted the operation of businesses of all sizes and in all sectors, but has had an even greater impact on small enterprises who rely on consistent business to remain profitable. The result has been that small businesses have either been forced out of business or, as we have seen in many examples, led to several businesses adjusting their operations to suit the current environment, either by retooling, changing their business model, amending their focus, or developing new streams of income to offset the shortfall in some areas. Today's webinar, therefore, seeks to provide support to our small business owners by bringing them together to gain valuable and practical information that can help you guys to elevate your operations in the immediate to short term and assist you guys not only with riding out this period of uncertainty, but also preparing you to thrive in a post-COVID-19 world. Today, we will explore, and the topics are in here. Julian Gregg will speak about surviving and thriving during COVID, as will Lily and Sophie. And then from the team here at Sagicor, we'll present on marketing during COVID, and under that, we will have using data to drive business. Honoré will do that presentation. Building brand awareness during COVID, Asha will do that presentation, and then Carolyn will end up that section with speaking on networking and partnership. We'll be followed right after by Eric, Marlene, and Kathy presenting on how to use social media to promote your business, and then we will end with some questions. We will also pause for Q&A after our guest speakers. I know your time is valuable, so let's go straight to the first presenter. So Julian Gregg, founder of JNL Traders and Quickly.com. And right after Julian, Lily and Sophie from YFetch will present. Right after that, we will have a short Q&A before going into the marketing presentations. Julian, over to you. Julian, remember to unmute.
Yes, afternoon, everyone. So Kathy, I'm trying to request the screen from you so I can share.
Lily, please, I'm going to ask you to pause what you're doing. Thank you so very much. Over to you, Julian.
Right, I'm just taking it over from Kathy. Great.
Julian, are you going to just share your screen? You're doing a on-screen press. Okay, perfect. If you could put it in slideshow mode.
All right, afternoon, everyone, and pleasure to be here and glad to share during this time. As you know, this is unprecedented time globally. What I'm going to attempt to do in the next 10 minutes is take you through a little bit of history with regards to the development of my businesses, and then specifically with regards to how we adapted during the time of COVID. I am the founder of two main businesses, Quickly.com, we'll hear about, and JNL Traders, and we can share contact information afterwards. Quick background with regards to me. My entrepreneurial journey has not been a short one. So for those who hear that entrepreneurship is, very quick, no, sometimes it's a longer road, like a marathon. So I started with e-commerce back in 2005, launched the first business. That was a online goods and services store called carecraft.com. And we sold authentic Caribbean goods. First to do integration with the local bank as well, with regards to local settlement and integration with the international courier company. That lasted for 12 years and learned quite a bit during that business. It was not my main focus because I had a corporate job at that time. Moving on, in 2017, we launched JNL Traders, and that is focused marketing and distribution company now, focused on Caribbean goods. And we were focused really on the Barbadian market, starting off with food. And as fate would have it, in the middle of 2019, I then moved my focus as I was made redundant and entered full-time entrepreneurship. And that led into greater time, obviously, and efforts to put into these projects. So we started a consulting company, and I started consulting with small and medium-sized businesses as well, to get them online with their e-commerce efforts. That led lately into August, when I joined a business incubator and launched my other business, Quickly.com. So what exactly is Quickly.com? Quickly.com is actually a payment services platform. So we're based here in Barbados, but we are connecting businesses and service providers with customers. Two main sides of the platform. The first side is shopping side. So your regular products or services can go on and shop for those. And then on the other side, we are providing payment services. At the present time, we're facilitating third-party payments or collections of funds for businesses. Their customers would come onto the site and, of course, have either Visa or MasterCard to be able to process their information. It's Barbados dollars based, and believe it or not, we launched 1 week before the shutdown here in Barbados. So we'll hear a little bit about that story. JNL Traders, as I told you, back in 2017 launched. We were mainly just a regular, buying goods, marking them up and selling them. And we actually started doing our e-commerce aspect of that site in March 2020, again, just before the lockdown. We're currently serving local market and focused on growing into those regional markets. So we hear about COVID, and we have all experienced what it's been like for the last 2-3 months in our various markets. And what I thought I would spend my time doing is really just giving you a feel of my top 10 tips with regards to marketing, specifically with regards to e-commerce over that period. Okay, so I know that some of the specialists will go into further details on some of these. So this is specifically from an e-commerce point of view. I'll give you how I did it in my businesses. So the first thing, it sounds very simple, but you really need to understand what you're doing. So you need to research and choose your actual e-commerce solution very well. Okay, so you need to understand the capabilities of what you're going to be launching on, what integrations it has, what you can do with it integrated marketing wise. Is it a newsletter that you can send out with MailChimp or any other type of services that are available there? Okay. Moving on, top tip number 2 is really you need to do some training. So for those of you who are going to get into this e-commerce world, you need to be going on YouTube. You need to be doing some self-education or professional education, but you need to be trained as a business owner on the concepts and terminology. The key thing here is that you want to know what you want your business to achieve. And if you're going to be doing it, obviously you need those skills. If you're going to be paying somebody else to do it and subcontracting it out, you also now need to know what you're paying for and understand what that service provider is going to deliver to you. Tip number 3 would really be your marketing niche. And there are so many sites out there. You have to find what are you good at. Okay, so what market niche are you after? So for me during COVID, really focused in on this. So on Quickly, we're really focused on obviously the joy of convenience. So we're marketing to people who were locked in, who were not able to get out, who needed those goods and services, and now have their credit card available to them and can pay for those services online. Okay, and what's your differentiator? Yeah, again, you really have to try and make yourself different. Okay, there are going to be millions of sites out there. You're going to be doing your marketing, but the thing that will keep your customers with you are going to be the differentiators. And so for me, the differentiators on the Quickly side, again, the e-commerce capability. On the shopping side, we have a full service shop that is, you're able to shop for everything from a SIM card up to an entire phone, get that configured and sent to you. So that was, that's a differentiator for us in the market because nobody else has that at the present time. Keep aware. Tip number 4, keep aware of the changes in your local environment and your customer challenges. During COVID, you had to keep abreast of the news. You have people again on curfew, some people coming back out to work. You have health requirements. So you really need to be on top of your game and understand, even in the simple delivery business or in your curbside pickup, you really need to understand, what's that social distancing? How is that going to work in your particular business? And make sure you think of that from the start and integrate it into your business process. Tip number 5 was really just choose one key social media platform. So for those of you who are real solopreneurs or just starting out a business or are solidly in business but do not have a large team, I would really say take on one social media platform at a time. So for me, that was Facebook on JNL and Instagram on Quickly, but I focused my efforts therefore on all of the marketing in that regard. The final 5 here, be flexible, adaptable, and responsive. The key thing in these times is customers want to hear from you and customers want to be heard. So try different things, put it out there. We try what you need to do to become responsive to their needs. This is not a time to be set in your ways or to say, this is how we always do it or this is what we want to do it. You have to be listening to your customers to say, by the way, we don't have access, for example, at a period in time in the middle of COVID, they didn't have access to their credit card information. They weren't able to make it to the bank. So we had to take some cash payments along there, right? So be flexible, adaptable, and responsive. Number 7, set the right tone for your customer and their expectations as well. So if you're going to be doing some type of e-commerce, tell them when you're going, tell them how quickly you're going to be delivering the service, the product for them. How long is it going to take to pack the goods and get it to them? How long is it going to take for your order to be cleared? But ensure that whatever that is, whether that is 24 hours, whether that's an hour, whether that's 2 or 3 days, you are consistently delivering on that, right? Customers are really, really depending on you for that. Number 8, pay attention, of course, to the wording on the content on your site, because that will have an impact on everything. It will have impact on your site credibility. It will have an impact with regards to from the internet searching, from the search engines and everything else. They want to know that when they click on your ad or on that product, it's actually what you said it was, and you're actually going to be selling that. They don't want to be clicking on something, and then when they get to your site, they realize that you're trying to sell them on some other product or service. Okay,
Hey,
so
Greg.
pay
Greg,
attention.
so you have 2 minutes left. If you could just use the last 2 minutes to share with them how you were successfully able to make changes to your business to survive and thrive during COVID. 2
Sure.
minutes to go.
Good. So the last 2 points are keep your site up to date, and that goes without saying. And the final tactic is drive your targeted traffic back to your main or central location. So regardless of what you're doing, use one main platform. For me, it was the websites, and I drove everything there. Specifically during COVID, as I said, we were flexible on those platforms. For quickly, we were not able to deliver the phones. And so what we did is we switched our focus to online services. So we did a lot of online top-up, selling prepaid plans, not just locally, but across the region. So and then we moved and focused our efforts on growing the payment side and the payment services half of the business. On GNL, as I said, we were really starting off as a regular business, and we realized that at this point in time, we had to be very responsive, got our full e-commerce integration up to date, got an agreement and a partnership with a delivery company. We were able to satisfy what our customers needed at that point in time. So that's it that I have to share with you this afternoon. And of course, after Q&A time, I'll be able to address any questions.
Thank you. We'll now turn over to Sophie and Lily. Over to you guys.
Good afternoon, everyone. So there's Sophie and we're both in 2 different locations, so we'll have to figure out how we share this presentation. But our presentation's pretty casual. Thank you so much for having us today. We're really looking forward to telling you the story about WeFetch. And firstly, a little bit about Sophie and I. Sophie and I, we're in the legal space, technology. We've had several online businesses we've been working on over the last decade, and a lot of experience in the blockchain tech space. So really heavy tech-centric background, and e-commerce background in the areas that we're in. So what is WeFetch? WeFetch is an online marketplace, an online multi-vendor marketplace, a payment platform, and a delivery solution, a very tech-centric delivery solution, which enables, you know, in the same way that there's Uber, that many of you would know Uber in the US. Our delivery network works a lot like that. So we realized very quickly that in order to have an online marketplace in the Caribbean, we needed to, 1, solve the payment problem and be maximally inclusive, and 2, solve the delivery problem. There's no good having a payment solution without a product to sell, and no good having a physical product to sell without a method of delivering it to the customer in a reliable, timely fashion. So we built a one-stop shop platform. We started the business on March 23rd. It was totally in response to COVID. You know, Sophie and I were in our office, and like I said, we have a law and hospitality and blockchain background, and we thought, oh my gosh, right now, if we don't do something very quickly, very differently, we won't be relevant for the next 2 months, right? Which was what happened to many people. And we went to market with this delivery grocery solution where we would basically take grocery orders and do the shopping. We partnered with a large supermarket here in Barbados, and the next day we were out doing that and just getting many orders a day straight off the bat. So the community really got on board with us. We got a lot of publicity from the press and the radio and social media, lots of shares. We kind of went viral because we were offering this solution that was so badly needed, and this VIP access when people couldn't get out. And from there, we've just built this multi-vendor platform. So whether you are selling groceries, or you're a small fisherman, or you're Cave Shepherd, we just brought on Cave Shepherd, or if you're Esso and Sol, you can list your product online with us, and we can organize for it to be delivered within 40 minutes. So Sophie, if you want to talk about, I'll hand it over to you to explain some more.
Yeah, basically, hi everyone, thank you for having us. As you said, we started this as a complete COVID response. This was not my background, Sophie wasn't Lily's either. We kind of saw, I think when you're building a business, you need to look at what's the problem and what's the solution that you can come up with to solve that problem. So we literally saw one problem at the time, which was access, right? We're about to go into lockdown. People didn't have access to the store, or they were staying home. So we're like, what's the solution? We'll be that bridge to make sure that people get their product that they want. So for the consumer, on that side was about getting them the product. And for the business side, it was about not having businesses collapse during COVID. We drove a lot of sales towards the groceries and the pharmacies that we had on board at the time with us. And then as the restrictions obviously lessened a little bit, we then started to onboard a lot more different types of vendors. We have hardware stores, we have candle makers, we have big department stores. So I think our method throughout the whole time was pivoting with the market at every step of the way. So when we were allowed to do groceries, we did groceries. When they opened up to do hardware, we did hardware. When they opened up the restaurants, we added in restaurants. And I think that's that was our ethos the whole time, was just be able to be agile and just move with the market and move with your consumers. And our background was basically besides law, it was really servicing some very high profile clients in lots of different ways. We just basically took the same approach that you take with them. Like, it doesn't matter if your customer's spending 100 with you or 1,000 with you. You treat them the exact same way. Your customer is always a center focus of your business. And that's what we did. We took everything we knew from dealing with rock star clients, as we call them, to dealing with people who just simply want groceries. And touching on what Julian just said before, he was like, listen to your customers, engage with your customers. And that's what we did. We went heavy marketing, we went customer centric. If anything went wrong, we were like the direct line to the customers, so don't ever think that you're too above taking the calls or whatever. We've sat many nights on the phone till 10 p.m., 11 p.m. speaking with customers. That's basically how WeFetch came about, and kind of the direction that we're going with it now is just we want to become a huge microservices company where whatever you need, you can get. And, we're looking for strategic partners in various islands, and we're looking to branch out momentarily, if not immediately. Lily can add on to that as well.
Right, so maximally inclusive. So today we have 140 different partners, vendors on our site that are using our platform and our technology to sell their products. We're getting orders for farming, vegetables, from the small farmers from the markets are able to sell on our platform, to the large, regional players like Cave Shepherd are able to sell on our platform. So we have 11 different methods of payment, of online payment. We've integrated into all of the major payee networks to the bank. So Scotia, RBC, First Caribbean as a payee on the drop down, where the cash apps like M-Money and the Cave Shepherd app, and as well as all the major credit cards. So just being really maximally inclusive and asking our customers what they want and just doing what they've asked us to do. So the debit card facility for online payment is very important. If you ask the supermarkets how much revenue they're doing from the debit card versus the credit card in the Caribbean, you'll find that it's a lot higher. So including that, so that once they do get online, they can access their debit card and those funds from their debit facility. We're doing. We also, the United Nations jumped on board with us from very early. They saw what we're doing. We promoted on social media. They gave us a call and they said, how can we support this? This is exactly what we want. We want to be able to facilitate this throughout the region. And the head of the UNDP here called us and made that happen very quickly for us. So they've supported us for the Eastern Caribbean, Antigua, Grenada, St. Vincent. We're just about to launch in the Trinidadian market. We've just landed a big partnership with True Value, which will support our launch for Trinidad. So you'll see that very soon. But like Sophie said, the user data from your customers, which you get, you just use to pivot your product. Even our Trinidad partnership, that wasn't part of our UNDP, but the Trinidad market was coming to us and they were asking for us to help with solutions. And so you just listen. If once you have your ear to your ground and you're in touch with your customers and partners, the business will take on a life and soul of its own, and will grow in the direction of which it needs to thrive. So, so vendors, if one big call to action for us would be, if you have anything to sell, any physical product to sell, you can go to wefetch.com/vendors. And whether you're in Antigua or Trinidad or Barbados, and you can set up your own online store, we'll facilitate all the payments for you. And whether you're a large hardware store like Carter's and Cave Shepherd, or you have a small candle business like what Sophie said, but it's totally possible. It's never been easier technology's never been cheaper, never been more accessible, right? So for you guys we launched our go-to-market solution was very inexpensive. It doesn't cost much to get a website up, and then you go to market, and if it flies, the market will tell you that it flies, and then you can decide if you're going to invest more into the business or into that particular, or whether you should pivot. But like I said, the biggest message is just listen to the market, listen to your customers, get on the phone with the customers, ask what they want, and build something for them, not of your own opinion, but of their opinion, because I think you'll find that what they want might be very different to what you think they want.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a time of digital transformation, obviously, and that's what we wanted to bring to the Caribbean. Lily and I have had many conversations prior to COVID about, e-commerce and bettering the digital economy here in Barbados and the Caribbean. So I think now is if it wasn't the most perfect opportunity, then there's nothing better than this right now to get businesses online, to get people more in the girth of of digital economies. It's all like we always talk about financial inclusion, but digital inclusion is really important now. If you're not trying to get into it, if you're not able to get into it, we've reached that point where you may get left behind, and it's really inexpensive to become included in that space. And it's really, the knowledge is out there, as Julian was saying earlier. YouTube, everything is there for you to learn and get yourself into the digital space, because now's the best time. Yesterday was the best time.
Okay, thank you so very much, Julian, Sophie, and Lily, for giving your insights and experiences. At this time, we will take questions. To ask questions, there's a chat button. You can just press on the chat button and send questions to all the panelists, and the questions will come, we will ask, and then everybody will be able to hear the response. We have our first question. You mentioned that it's inexpensive to start up. This is for the WeFetch co-founders. There's a question asking what did it cost to start up. I will ask everybody asking questions, if you could just say your name, the name of your business, and the country that you are located at right now. So the question, what did it cost to start up?
I mean, startup costs vary, but we can literally give you our startup costs. We went to market with a free trial of a website. We went to market with a free trial of G Suite, which is emails. So depending on, obviously it depends on the business you're going into, but for a low capital startup, you could start. I really believe you could start with $200. Lily may even tell you less.
Yeah, we started with, there's a company called Lead Pages, Lead Pages, and it gives you a 2-week free trial, and you can just drag and drop your website, right? Pictures, images, and then you take that, so you take your social media profile, like your Instagram, and you connect it to your Lead Pages, and you just see what the market does, and then if in 2 weeks or 3 weeks it's shown some promise, then you can upgrade. We're now on our version 4 of our website, and I think that's the best way to go. You're testing, and the market responds. So it's free to have an Instagram account. If you have something that's worth doing, while and people like you, they're gonna share, they're gonna post, they're gonna shop with you, they're gonna submit their orders, and you just grow from there.
And just
All
use
right.
use the media to your advantage in terms of that stuff, because it's using the media is free if you know how to work it in your favor. So I think minimal startup costs. Just get your face out there, get your name out there, get your brand out there, get your products out there, and you know, try to work and pivot with the market. And maybe 200 was even more than I should have said. Maybe 100.
All right, this session is all about networking, and later on, Caroline will speak a little bit more about that. But there's a question for Julian. How do I go about using your payment methods for my business website?
Sure. So thanks, Ingrid. Thanks for the question. So it's very simple as well. You're just going to be sending an email to quickly@bdos@gmail.com. We'll connect back with you and tell you exactly how you can get your products up and how you can therefore charge for your services.
Thank you.
It's a very quick setup as well.
A question for WeFetch. The internet idea fully evolved during COVID-19 and has worked due to curfews. Are you finding persons still using the services at this time as the country reopens?
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing the we're still getting orders. Yeah, I mean, right in the middle of lockdown, I mean, orders were enormous, just unmanageable. We weren't, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of orders a day. We still have a very healthy number of orders a day, and we have more partners than ever. So I definitely think that created a new culture for us and a new norm, and people have realized how easy it is and how much more access they have. I mean, to do shopping in a place like Barbados, where you're getting from multiple, you know, using multiple stores, it takes a whole day, and we can do it for you really quickly. You can just shop for your kitchen table. It turns up within a couple of hours. It's really easy, especially for people who are working, or working moms, or older people. Like, even if you need a gas bottle, we can get your gas bottle. If you need a bill paid, we're doing bill payment. So lots of different microservices and just enabling greater access.
All right, thank you. A question from Nigel from Trinidad, and he operates Lennon Services. Question is for Sophie and Lily. I would like to hear about the back-end processing of your payment receipts from a security standpoint.
So I can take it. So our payments are done through RBC. So our RBC's platform processes our payments. And then all of our other payments, whether those be through the payee, those are all also done through our, RBC, Scotiabank. You know, so you're dealing directly with their platform. M-Money is another one. The integration is directly with M-Money. So it's not, you know, you're not utilizing the WeFetch platform to pay. You're utilizing the third-party banking platform to facilitate all of those payments.
All right, thank you. I have a question from Ronald, and his business is Ronald's Landscaping and Construction Services. Is the platform charging a fee to resell the products? And if so, how to calculate the fee?
Sophie, do you want? Sophie, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So no, we're all about, you know, making sure that businesses stay alive and building this robust economy and robust, you know, sustainable economy during COVID and post-COVID. So we want everyone to have access to our website and have access to sell their products on our website. So the list with us is free, and we don't charge anything on top of the price that you pay. So if your item's $50, we sell it for $50. We're not, adding on extra for the customer. We know it's difficult times right now for any customer, you know, purchasing anything. So no service fees. And if it is any fees that we do have on the website are very, very, very clear, you know, so there's no hidden anything inside the website, no small print, anything.
All right, so this question is for any of the speakers, whether it's Julian, Sophie, or Lily. Trudy, my business name is Expressions by Scotty Makeup. What avenues would you suggest for beauty areas in these times, as monies aren't being floated to suit customers as they would like? I think she's asking what ideas would you give her for her to do her business now that the beauty business is on a hold because of social distancing?
So we have a whole category under beauty. We just got a few orders today for under the beauty category for perfumes and makeup. It's certainly something that people still need. It's just finding access to it. So you could list on our platform in our beauty category, and we could assist you with sales. But I think, you know, from a social media standpoint, this is the time to get really, proximity is power, and to really gain that proximity with your customer base and with your community. So whether that be doing like makeup tutorials or just getting people to know you and know your brand, you know, social media is free. You just have to you have to prepare and get prepared and put in the effort from the social media, and that's an investment for sure. But just utilize different methods to reach the market.
Yeah, and I'll add on to that, as Lily had said. So from the social distancing point of view, it really is just, as I keep in touch with the customers, you know, do some videos showing them how they can do their pedicure at home by themselves, and then sell on those products, so that when the social distancing is eased a little bit further and you can get those customers coming back to you, at least they have some type of connection, right? Yeah. So keep in touch.
Now's also the huge time to brush up on your skills. Like if it is that you can't get, you know, the clients right now in your physical presence, you can, as Lily said, do tutorials. You can show people how to do things, and you can also brush up on your skills. Because one thing I can pretty much say for a fact, when social distance ends, people will want the beauty products done. People were crying out. You know, you saw men crying out for their barbers, etc. So I think just brush up on your skills and just keep marketing yourself via, I don't believe in marketing via one medium. Maybe people have different opinion, but try to get them. If you understand Twitter, use Twitter. If you understand Instagram, use Instagram. If you like YouTube, use YouTube. Put it everywhere. You know, you can never overshare your business, in my opinion.
Yeah, no such thing as overexposure.
All right, thanks. Another question for Lily. My business is iprotect.tt. What is the name of the inexpensive platform you use for your website?
Lead Pages, LEAD pages.net.
Yeah, there's also, if you buy a domain on GoDaddy, there's a website builder called GoCentral, and it's fully properly encrypted, secure. It's hosted for you, and I think you end up paying $80 for the year, if I'm correct.
All right, so thanks everybody for your questions. We have some more questions, but we will have another opportunity for Q&A after the other presentations. Thank you so very much, Julia, Sophie, and Lily, for your insights once again. Some great questions coming out of that session. We will now go to the marketing and social media presentations, and we will start with Honoree and Asha and Carolyn. And you won't hear my voice again until it's time for the social media team. So over to you, Honoree. I think you're on mute, Honoree. You can unmute.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Lily, Sophie, Julian, thank you so much for your insightful presentation and discussion. I'm sure everyone has tons of takeaways, so I'm very happy for that. I'm just gonna have a quick discussion with the team basically on where we are at the moment, and basically to share the old ways and the traditional ways that we've been adopting simply won't open the new doors that we endeavor. So what I'm gonna advise is, market research is typically very complex. People have, very fearful. They think it's a very expensive undertaking, and it has tremendous dimensions. So you look at the demand, the market size, pricing, and even customer feedback. But for me, what I've realized is that your focus should be, as a small business, just be laser focused on these issues of demand.
Sorry, Honoree, if you could just speak more into the microphone. You seem to be breaking up a little bit. If you just speak a little bit closer. Yes, you seem to be breaking a little bit.
All right, no problem.
Okay, that's better. That's better.
Wonderful. All right, great. So I was just making the point that I think we need to be a lot more laser focused on the issues of demand and customer feedback, so we can continue to improve small businesses. So one of the things that I'm going to mention quickly is just on the issue of demand. Now, the traditional way of exploring demand just looks at whether or not, there was a desire for your services. So when Lily and Julian spoke about their experiences, they spoke about, looking and seeing exactly whether there was market interest, and they put the product out there and just to evaluate what is occurring. But what we see more and more is that as you have established your business, and most of you have already done that, the idea here is you really have to mine the internal data and be able to refine your business, to be able to pivot quickly and get to your customers even before they express a need, because that is exactly where the entire market continues to trend. We want to be able to get persons through the door, whether it be our virtual door or our physical doors, when we are able to reopen them. We want to get there and get to them before they even realize that we have a service or a product that they need. So I'm going to give you the example of using something as simple as Google Forms. It is simple, it is free, and it's very easy to set up. So I'm showing you the example of a small catering company who does, because of COVID, has transitioned to doing curbside pickup for their services. So you have an opportunity to simply create a small form. You have to be dedicated, share it with all of your customer base, and you could capture information like, simple, just the email addresses or the first and last name. You even have a library of all the photos that you can use just to be able to share whatever your products are. And of course, you have the opportunity to utilize your own images, because I'm sure most of you looking at this will be quite concerned about the grilled fish, because it doesn't look like anything we eat in the Caribbean. So it's probably a better option to utilize your own images, and that's a great option to take. So something as simple as Google Forms is very easy to use. That form that I just showed you was created in 6.5 minutes. It doesn't take a long time, and it allows for it. You have one central repository for all the data that's collected. Anyone who's involved in data will tell you that the value of data has far outstripped the value of oil, even long before the oil dropped to its ridiculous number it is presently. And you have to be able to access your data. You need to know who your customers are very well. So something like this allows you to be able to be multi-purpose. You can track all your orders. You can even be able to receive feedback from your customers, which is critical. So let's give another example. Let's say you had a person who was running a health and beauty parlor where they have, getting your nails done, getting your hair done. You have the opportunity to keep all of those orders in one location. It's very easy to access and even look at your inventory to see what is it that persons have ordered and be able to track things very usefully, right? So here I'm going to use an example, taking my colleague Carolyn, putting her under some pressure. So here we have, if Carolyn used to go to Fancy Dancy's hair and nails, here's the treasure trove of information that's present for that business owner. They can look, by just filtering the backend data coming out of your Google Forms, you can actually take a quick look at Carolyn's history and realize that Carolyn actually does appointments every 2 weeks. Her preferable day is Wednesday, and she has a pattern that she likes to work with. She gets a full service for her nails, then she comes back, gets a refill, and she gets a full service again, and she keeps repeating that pattern. So in this moment, when things are extremely difficult, there's so much value in being able to understand Carolyn's patterns, how they might need to evolve, and see where you can offer her some kind of service to meet her halfway in what she needs. So this is very useful for many small businesses. So typically we know that the customer feedback is complex. It's only done in large organizations. They have tons of surveys that they do on a yearly to look at customer satisfaction. But you can actually have a very simplified model that needs to be implemented for every single opportunity you interact with your customers. So something as simple as a rating. Hey, you can give my food, let's give it a rating of 5 stars. Was it 5 stars today? Was it 3? And then you can drill into that a lot better. How often have I been able to get to my 5-star, which is my desired rate? How was the service? I bring on new staff. Are people comfortable with who they are? Or even just the international question of the Net Promoter Score. The concept is your business loyalty is feedback is primarily based on how likely are persons to recommend to friends or family. If you have a brand that you are comfortable with, you're loyal to that brand, you're very likely to recommend it. And that helps you to plan strategically for your way forward. And you can even just ask persons for suggestions for improvement, or even just to give you some some feedback on your business in total. Because publishing these on your social and digital sources, they're incredibly important. Persons only purchase now when you see a pattern of things that have occurred. Okay, I'm looking at on my social, I'm looking to purchase some food. I want to see the reviews. I want to see how persons have felt about the purchases that they've had thus far. So that's critical for you. And that doesn't take very long to create. You can have a very simple form, something that just asks, was the meal I had great? Was I satisfied with it? Was I comfortable with the speed of delivery from WeFetch? Was I totally uncomfortable with the ordering that I had quickly? All of these are very important concepts, because now 1 year of data from your customers, the ones who you are selling to, gives you more insight than if you listen to one screaming customer as they tend to. You have one customer who's very low, who is shouting for the changes that you should implement. And often as small businesses, we're trying to pivot and change just to cater to that one individual, and we miss the greater value. So this allows you to almost take away the sense of, I have to remember each of my customers, I have to remember their patterns and their flows and what they love. And now I can actually just take a step back, I can look at my data, and I can be able to make some insightful decisions on how best to get to them before they even express a need. And so what we're saying is, for less than $50, for less than $100, you can actually be doing for your customers what Amazon is doing for theirs, just simply by implementing and sticking consistently to these options. Having every person that orders from you complete one of these forms, or just complete some form where you can track your data over time. Because even if you were to decide to change your business model completely and were to try to sell your business, most persons interested in purchasing are asking the question they're asking first is, what does your data look like? What does your customer base look like? How can I dive into that to do more direct to customer marketing and bring them into my own space? So there's a huge opportunity to start to implement some of this. Now, there's a lot of analytics and background stuff that we can get into, but we wanted to present something that was very easy, something that you can take, you can implement tomorrow, and you start to see the changes almost immediately. So I hope you found this useful. And Ingrid, I would allow you to pass on to my other colleagues that they have to present as well. So thank you, everyone, and I hope you found it useful.
Thanks, Honorary. Over to Asha.
Okay, thank you, Ingrid. Let me just share my slide here. Hold on 1 second. Okay, all right, everyone. So throughout this seminar, what you're going to be hearing a lot about is that essentially business is no longer business as usual. And this also applies to your brand. It is essentially my pleasure this afternoon to guide you through how you can navigate in building your brand's business during this new normal. So let's start. Now, in every challenge, there's an opportunity. And we understand that, particularly for small businesses, there have been several challenges. So let's stop for a second and think, even in the middle of COVID-19, what has been the opportunity? Who would have thought for a second that face mask would be the new it accessory? Who would think that it would become the new fashion accessory? And that's what it has been. So look at how many persons have become entrepreneurs who have decided to go into this industry and leverage on it almost immediately. And that's coming back to the point of being agile that was made earlier. Now more than ever, as businesses seek to adapt, what you need to do is to focus on building trust, creating loyalty, and adding value in a way that your customers want in order for your business to succeed. So it's not just about turning over products, but trying to build that relationship with that client so that they see the value that you bring in your business. So we're going to explore this whole piece of the seminar around the eyes of Nicole. Nicole is a new business owner. She's actually tried a couple of businesses, and a few months ago, she decided to go into her own bakery. What timing was that, right? So what she has had to do during that time is to adapt her business and alter how she promotes. So she's changing her pricing, she's changing her products, her distribution channels. So let's take a look at Nicole's journey. So the first thing that Nicole looked at was sharing her why. Now you may ask yourself, what does that mean? Why do you need to share that? Now sharing your why is about sharing about what you do and why your clients should choose you. And I would tell you to start with that in mind. Remember, you have a unique voice, and it's only your voice that you should be listening to other than your clients. So don't just copy a competitor, what someone else is doing. Listen to your own voice. Remember that people want to connect with brands that they care about, that are making impact. They want to be able to support a cause, and that cause should align with your company's core values. Very importantly, supporting your community, and know that when you do good, you'll do even better. In Nicole's case, what she decided to do was to find a local food bank, and she decided to donate towards that cause. In doing so, she connected with persons in her community and has now established her brand as being part of a wider cause. And that in turn has had its own rewards. What Nicole did as well is that she looked at cost-effective marketing. She went out and she found inexpensive channels to market her business. So here's what happened from there. Remember I spoke about the food bank that she was a part of? She decided to contact some editors and journalists, and that's pretty simple. Most of this information is on, say, the media channel's website. In the newspaper, those persons' names are usually printed as well. So she contacted them and told them about all the work that she had done, and they decided to cover that story. The great thing about it is that it was all free. So she was able to get her brand out there without basically spending an additional cent. She decided as well to invest in some radio spots, and throughout the Southern Caribbean, by and large, radio tends to be a bit cheaper than the average spot out there. So she spent about maybe 20 US a spot and decided, let me go out and get that impact. In addition to that, she decided to do some inserts in her local newspapers as well as distribute to some popular locations. And those flyers, while they were simple, they got into the hands of the people that she needed it to, because she chose locations that her customers were frequenting. She also decided to leverage on her own packaging, and she created branded client packages. And inside of those packages was a special offer to get clients to return. So she just wasn't looking at getting a new client in, but getting that customer to keep coming right back to her. And in addition to that, she focused on digital and social communication. She kept those customers' information, and she decided to email them and share with them when she had new products, as well as giving them a monthly client newsletter so that she kept in contact with them throughout the process. And you're going to hear a lot more about that later on in the seminar. Now, remember this special client offer that we were talking about earlier. Here's how Nicole basically approached that offer. One is she decided to do bonus offers. So essentially, on a specific day, buy one, get a second one at a certain percentage off. She also decided to do free trial offers. And you may ask, how do you do that? She decided to get a product out there by basically offering clients the opportunity to test the products in advance. So they could pick up a sample, or she would get one delivered to them. She also decided on Tuesdays to give a special offer for a sweet deal, where they would get a specific percentage off of the product on Tuesdays. And in addition to that, she decided to launch a reward program for her very loyal clients. So persons who purchased the 5th time, the 10th time, those people got an additional sweet package that she would pull together for them. And even on their birthdays, they got a little something extra just in recognition of that relationship. So in terms of her next steps, what Nicole recognized is that so many of what she needed to do was virtual. So she decided to generate leads by doing her own virtual show. And so she looked inside and she said, hey, how do I do that? And what she recognized is that she could have used multiple platforms, Zoom, Facebook, Google, you name it. And she decided to have a seminar. She invited all of those clients that she had their contact information for, and she decided to show them how to prepare her favorite cookie. What she did afterwards, in addition to engaging and keeping these clients close to her, is that she sent them special discount vouchers afterwards that allowed them and encouraged them to come back to her for repeat purchases. Now, remember we spoke earlier about being able to adapt, and that's exactly what Nicole did in this case. She decided to adapt her products and services. And you may ask how. She basically has an online store. Sorry, she does not have an online store. And how does she get out there in this new environment? What she decided to do is to basically take her services and to find new channels. And these were channels where she said, look, these are where my customers are. So she looked at things like convenience stores, gas stations, restaurants, and she reached out to these owners and found a way to get her product into those new areas. What she also recognized as well is that she was basically gourmet bakery, before all of this. And she recognized that she needed to change her product mix. So instead of just high-end products, she decided to move to more medium-end products such as breads and pastries. She also decided, in terms of adapting her products and services, to recognize that people's tastes are also changing. And she continuously sought that feedback in order to change that. She also would have leveraged on emerging delivery service trends. So you would have heard of some of these before. And what she recognized is that in order, she could no longer just let customers come to her. She also had to go to them. So the next step in Nicole's journey was to go after affordable and flexible solutions for her clients. Now, she considered economic challenges, and in fact, that affordability was a challenge for many of them. So she decided for more expensive items such as wedding cakes that she would allow a flexible payment option. So say 3 months, and that allowed her to not only bring clients in, but to give them the service that they needed. What she did as well is she partnered with financial institutions such as the banks, the credit unions, and that allowed her to send clients who had very, very large orders in, and she would not have the risk and impact on her operating cycle. She also decided to give them more flexible payment options because she before would have worked primarily with cash. She decided instead to look at online payments, digital transfers, drop boxes, etc. Now, the key to Nicole's success, which she recognized, was actually not just in the first 3 I just spoke about, but in the last 2. The fact is that clients would not purchase if they thought that they were unsafe or they were consuming unsafe products. So what she focused on was reassuring her clients that the product and service that they had was not only compliant with COVID-19 best practices, but that she was also seeking their best interests. So she did a very simple label that she placed on the packaging, basically saying this product is 100% safe. We've sanitized this product for your protection. It is safe to open. And that helped to reassure the clients that not only was she there for them, but she was taking every measure possible to protect them. She also focused on her people. Now, the fact is, every single person who's interacting with your client, be it a supplier, delivery driver, whoever it is, they are part of your brand. And what she focused on was making sure that these people understood her brand so that they could be her voice when she was not there. She also equipped them with the right tools so that they knew what they were doing. And you'll hear a lot more about that later on. She also—
I'm sorry, Asha, just 1 minute to wrap up, please.
Almost there. So she also positioned her team members as professional, empathetic, and knowledgeable. Now, in conclusion, I just want to remind you guys what I said earlier, which is for every challenge, there's an opportunity. There's tremendous opportunity in this case to strengthen your brand by adopting your business model. You can build brand advocacy, love for your brand by exceptional experience. And of course, do not forget to measure using any number of customer loyalty measurements and free tools such as SurveyMonkey. I know that there's an opportunity out there, and I encourage each of you to maximize it. Thank you.
Thank you, Asha. Thank you. Caroline, over to you.
Sharing. Hello, good afternoon. I am Carolyn, and today we're going to be talking about networking and partnerships for small businesses. Now, networking, I'm sorry, I'm not able to.
Pasta through the mail without making a soggy, floppy mess. Now you can.
Caroline, I'm not sure what's going on. We're hearing a sound.
How does it work?
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I'm not playing anything.
Okay, can you just go again?
So starting again, hello, I'm Carolyn, and today we're going to be talking about networking and partnerships. And I started with a quote that says, your network is your net worth. And basically what that speaks to is being able to come together, and the sum of all parts is greater than the individual pieces. So the first question is, why network? It's hard enough to sell my product by itself. Well, here are some benefits for networking. You can access new markets. You can have access to shared resources and combined knowledge. You can increase your visibility. It keeps you up to date with trends in your industry, helps you compete more effectively with larger firms, get business advice and support, develop beneficial relationships, and increase brainstorming ideas and joint solving of problems. So there's definitely good reasons to network. Now, of course, during a COVID scenario, online networking is the new normal. So what are some of the ways that you can network online? Well, of course, we know we can join Facebook and all of the social networking platforms. But of course, we want to do this for small business. So what's effective for small business? You can join a forum for your industry or your area. It doesn't have to be local. But what it allows you to do is learn from experts who may not necessarily compete with you directly. You can attend virtual webinars and trade shows in order to connect with others in your industry. Effective use of social media, the right social media channels for the right type of content, and you'll hear more about that later. Follow vendors in your industry to see where opportunities might exist to work together. So how do we make partnerships work? Because, you know, in the Caribbean, there's always a question about, you know, whether networking and working with a partner is better than working alone. I think the most important thing is to start right, because in the Caribbean, we say we can't start wrong and end right. So let's start right. Seek out the right partner for your business goals. Discuss, be honest, what does each of you want to achieve? Identify each other's strengths in order to complement your businesses. Be clear about your expectations from the beginning. Start with a small project, test that partnership, make things official. This doesn't mean bringing in a lawyer and having a contract. A simple email works for this purpose. So, who are some of the people that we want to target? And when we want to target influencers and content creators, because these folks give us access to a wider sphere of influence and a wider market. So how do we get their attention? First of all, we find the right influencers and we give. I don't know if you've ever heard the maxim, punch, 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 jab. So the whole idea is before you ask, you give. So you subscribe to their newsletter, you comment on their blog posts, you follow them on social media, you like them, you send friend requests, and you mention them in your content. After you've done all of these things, then you finally ask the favor because you have demonstrated that you're willing to give and take. So what are some practical tips and tricks? Because I think I've now convinced you that partnership is the way to go. So you can develop a new product with a partner that adds additional value. For example, you might make homemade hamburger patties and someone may have a bakery and they do hamburger buns or salt bread. And you can create a new product, which is your Caribbean hamburger patty. So you're going to give them the recipe for this bun, this hamburger, and a special sauce of herbs and spices, which is going to blow their minds. So now instead of a very plain patty and a very plain bun, you have a new product. You can provide a bundled product with a partner to sell a complementary product that gives you a leg up over the competition. So you can bundle two things together that allow you to have allows your customer to have a better experience. You can capitalize on your synergies. So for example, I'm so sorry. For example, a shared delivery resource with a complementary product or one that operates from the same geography. So for example, I live in St. George, a parish in Barbados, and someone up the street who also has a business, obviously lives in St. George as well. We can partner with a taxi driver who picks up all of our orders at the same time on the same days, and therefore cut down on the delivery fees to our customers, or if we bundle the delivery fee and our costs, cut down on our costs overall. We can share followers. Once you've made connections with a partner, you can share on each other's feeds and you can share each other's specials and promotions. You can partner with a larger brand. Larger brands have larger budgets, and of course that means larger reach. You can reach out to a partner who has a similar audience and offer your product as a prize for their next promotion. For example, if you make custom swimsuits, you can reach out to a large sunblock brand who's doing their summer promotion and offer custom swimsuits as a prize in their promotion. You can also reach out to a storefront that doesn't carry products in your category. If you know the retail environment, you may be familiar with stores that have your demographic, the people that you want to reach out to, but don't yet have your product. As such, you will tap into their market in addition to yours. Find a partner who will use your product as an input. For example, if you approach a health cafe, they may use your cassava flour or your freshly grated coconut as an ingredient. Think about customer convenience. If you develop a relationship with other vendors in your industry who do other elements of the same job, you can add on a service by which you become a one-stop shop. For example, if you do helium balloons, you can partner with somebody who does the jumping tents and someone who does the decor, and voila, you're a one-stop party planner. I want to end by saying, alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Honoree, Asha, and Caroline. And a little later on, you'll be able to ask them questions. We're just going to jump right now into the social media presentation. So up now, we'll have Eric, Marlene, and Kathy. Reminder to mute your computer if you're not presenting. Over to the social media guys.
Hi, everyone. So now we're going to take you through some ways that you can use social media to promote your business. I'm going to begin with talking about how we can navigate through this new norm, and then I'm going to pass everything over to Marlene. Just going to request control here. There we go. So I should have control here. Okay. So I don't need to tell everyone that everything has changed. The world is definitely a different place than it was last March. You know, we're seeing that consumer behavior and digital behavior has significantly been impacted during this time period. The main message that has been on everyone's mind has been to stay safe. We saw that the stay home movement emerged on social media, notably Instagram, and gained a lot of momentum and quickly was adopted across the world. While people were physically distancing, they embraced new ways to stay connected. You know, and I'm not talking just about using FaceTime to video call someone. We saw, you know, across the world, people standing outside of their homes and singing songs praising first response providers. And that content was then in turn shared across the world on social media. You know, it can be hard to believe, but some reports from Facebook have indicated that during this time, some people actually have felt more connected given the new ways that they've been connecting with each other. Now, it should come as no surprise that COVID-19 resulted in more people spending time online. You know, these findings are only natural. We didn't put our lives on hold, we took it online. The most notable statistic I want to reference here is that 70% of people are spending more times on their smartphones. Each of these activities below this, majority of people are using these actions on their smartphone. So it's a very big deal that more and more people are spending more time on their smartphone. Without question, we are entering a new norm. So it's very important for us to understand what this means so we're able to chart the course. Changes in digital behavior, as I mentioned, combined with the possibility of sustained physical distancing, has resulted in increased digital expectations. It's never been more important to put your best foot forward now in the digital space. But what does all this mean? How are businesses going to thrive through this new norm and navigate through things successfully? E-commerce is suited to succeed in this new norm. So businesses like Price World, or we heard of earlier from Sophie and Lily with WeFetch, and from Julian with J&L Traders, these businesses built in e-commerce to their DNA. It's part of who they are. It's part of how they succeed. And this is crucial to businesses going forward in this new norm. Additionally, social media has never been a more valuable business tool. Everything from awareness to consideration, down to conversion, and ending with advocacy, you can be present through your consumer's entire consumer journey on social media. That's a very powerful thing. Also, the mobile experience has never been more important. It's never been more important to approach how you create your content on social media with a mobile-first mindset. So I'm just going to go through a couple quick tips here for how you can make sure you're optimizing your content for mobile. Branding. People consume content on mobile at a ridiculous velocity. Those thumbs are moving. So make sure that you showcase your brand early and often, so as they're going through, they can see that and you get that brand awareness. Make sure that you design for sound off or sound on. People on mobile tend to consume content without audio, so make sure you're including some subtitles or something to make sure people can get the message across, whether they can hear you or not. When it comes to timing, on social media, shorter is usually better, so find ways that you can kind of keep making things shorter to match the format. With regards to framing, this is especially important. You want that content to match the device people are consuming on. So typically this means using a square 1x1 or a vertical 9x16 piece of creative. In terms of attention, once you've got their attention, you need to keep it. And that means keeping the pace of things up. Continue to move through your content at a good speed to keep people involved and engaged. And lastly, play more. Social media is a great place for you to get out of your comfort zone and to test and learn. It's also extremely important to build for zero friction. Now, what do I mean by zero friction? Things like service delays, communication delays, and other inconveniences found along the consumer journey can create friction. This friction can be very unsettling to consumers, and it can result in people abandoning their carts or ultimately choosing a competitor over you. The discovery phase, purchase, and post-purchase, these are all key points where friction can occur. So let's go through some ways for how we can identify and reduce this friction. With regards to identifying and reducing discovery friction, awareness is a big thing. You want to make sure that people that have an interest to your products are linked to them. So make sure that you're targeting the most qualified audience to ensure that this is happening. In terms of information gaps, Julian was going over the importance of feedback. So make sure you have an opportunity on your Facebook page for people to comment with that feedback. And if possible, open up a space for reviews. You really want to encourage that. And going back to the targeting there, 50% of consumers claim that tailored experiences positively impact their purchase behavior. So make it for them. Now we're going to look at reducing purchase friction. So availability, especially in the era of COVID-19 where people are taking limited trips out of their home, you want to make sure you can make it as clear as possible when and where the products are available and make sure they know if they're in stock. With respect to buying, make it very clear if there's a pickup or shipping option. It would be unfortunate if someone could get all the way to your store only to learn that they could have had it dropped off. So make that be very clear. With respect to payment, it's very important to streamline that payment experience and also make it as clear as possible if it's pay now or pay later. 87% of consumers claim that complicated checkout experiences can ultimately result in abandoned purchases. So keep things simple. Lastly, identifying and reducing post-purchase friction. When it comes to fulfillment, ensure timely delivery, communicate what's going on, and have tracking available if possible. As Asha mentioned, even a small sticker that says your goods has been sanitized can go a long way and ultimately can become user-generated content on social media, showcasing your brand and the little steps that you're willing to take to go further. With regards to support, this is extremely important. Make sure you keep a good line of customer service open. Respond to your messages in a timely manner just to keep that dialogue going. It goes a long way. And lastly, repurchase. Just because someone's made a purchase from you, the engagement with them doesn't end there. You can use retargeting methods on social media to make sure that you can message people back for a follow-up sale with a discount. It doesn't end there. Keep things going. 52% of consumers claim that poor customer service has made them switch brands. So the experience is very important. So I'm going to wrap up with some tips for how we can reduce this friction further. It's very important to understand your customers and map their journey. Understand how they get from that awareness all the way down to their conversion. And then you want to analyze where your customers are experiencing this friction. Where are the pain points? You need to understand this. And then lastly, take everything that you've learned, put that together into a strategy that ultimately puts your customer at the core of the experience. And I'm going to pass everything over to Marlene.
Great. Thank you, Eric. I would tell you that it's certainly a lot to get used to and adjust to. Let's start. Social media marketing and using digital tools are very important for social businesses, for small businesses, because it is relatively inexpensive and it gives you the ability to reach a large number of people within less time and minimal effort. Let's go into our first digital tool. Let's look at WhatsApp Business, which is from Facebook, and it is a simple tool for businesses to talk to their customers. WhatsApp Business is built on top of WhatsApp Messenger. It enables you to have a business presence on WhatsApp, communicate more efficiently with your customers, and help you grow your business. A feature that is really convenient is that if you have separate business and personal phone numbers, you can have both WhatsApp Business and WhatsApp Messenger installed on the same phone. You can also set up group chats so that you can efficiently and effectively send out one message to multiple people. In addition to features available on WhatsApp Messenger, WhatsApp Business includes features such as creating a business profile and business messaging. Let's go to a good example of what a great idea can achieve when paired with a personal communication channel like WhatsApp. Here is a promotion around a common kitchen product, mayonnaise. The brand owner wanted people to use more of their product, which, by the way, was not the cheapest in supermarkets. What did they do? They invited people to sign up, take photos of whatever was in their refrigerator, and WhatsApp the content to a chef. The chef stayed with them on WhatsApp and cooked alongside that person for the evening. The result? The campaign was a huge success. Building emotional relationships, offering people a great experience, and presenting the product in a different light. Of course, making it a very useful ingredient. Okay, so I'm thinking that you're thinking and you're getting new ideas spinning in your head. And how can you get more out of this? Continue to check WhatsApp. So hairdressers out there, you could ask your clients to WhatsApp you their photos and you can share some hairstyling tips. Here's another great tool, Social Searcher. It gives you real-time media monitoring options. This search engine allows you to monitor all public social mentions in the social network web. It quickly measures and tracks what people are saying about your company, brand, product, service in one easy-to-use dashboard. It's a huge time saver. Up next, I did a quick search for Sagicor Life, and in less than a minute, here's what popped up across multiple social channels and across the web. I'll point out to you that the post with red dots alerts you to posts that Social Searcher thinks may be of particular interest. And I'm going to show you a next slide. Don't be afraid of the charts. I promise you the information is easy to read and understand. Social Searcher also provides you with information that will trigger you to notice and take action of online activities. The information helps you to analyze and assess the performance of your content across different platforms with the help of various charts and generated reports. Check the spikes of your users of activity and manage potential crises before they go viral. Let's use the example of a meat shop. Audience Insights. This tool helps you identify triggers of what's triggering your customers into buying. What type of post do they prefer? Posts on weekly specials. How do they prepare the perfect barbecue ribs? Which week they post would you see your customers responding to? Maybe the posting of your price list on a Thursday can get some of the rushed weekend shoppers in on Friday instead. Sentiment analysis. Customers are getting more and more used to sharing negative experiences about products and services in the social network rather than informing companies directly. An example, we all know people are still getting used to social distancing and don't like to wait in long lines. So someone may have posted a complaint about the slow service at your store because they had to wait outside. Social Searcher will highlight that post, and this way you can reach out to that customer quickly. While we all know COVID-19 does not allow more than 2 people in your shop at the same time, you could still reach out to your client, explain, and maybe offer a one-time make good of an order. You would have a customer for life. And the next tool is Google My Business. Anyone working with a local business or multiple operation knows the importance of Google My Business. It's a free tool that lets you manage how your business appears on Google Search and Maps. This includes adding your business name, location, opening hours, monitoring and replying to customer reviews, learning where and how people are searching for you, and more. When people are searching for products or services, they're usually very close to making a purchase. 1 in 2 people who conduct a local search are ready to visit the store or to purchase on that very day. So if they typed in, what repair me, or meat shop that delivers, or company that delivers food or medication, would your business pop up? So when people do a Google search, it's important that detailed information about your business pops up, and it needs to be as accurate, complete, and optimized as possible. Google My Business has made it very easy for you to connect with your customers. How do I get started? Let's do a quick step-by-step. All right. So you've Googled Google My Business, and here you are, sign in. Takes you to the page, and the first page takes you to engage customers. Now look to your left lower screen, and here's where we start plugging in information. Find my business, and so the next image will show you the screen. Enter the name of my business. So this morning I've set up Mary's Bakery. Mary's Bakery has been my dream shop. The next bit of information it's going to ask you will be to enter more information about the category that fits your business best. Then it continues to ask you for information, which is add location and visit a store like my office. It continues along and it shows you, there I am. I'm on the map. See how easy that was? It's going to then ask you for some additional information, and that additional information is going to give you or ask you, do you also want to service customers outside of this location? It then takes you to the next prompt, which will ask you, what additional contact information do you need? Put in your phone number. Do you want to link it to a website? All right, and you see how easy, and these prompters are automatic. Then comes the winding down of the questionnaire, which is stay in the know. Do you want to be kept in the loop? What's happening next on Google My Business? You say yes, and then it asks for verification. Verification means that they want to acknowledge that this account has been fully set up. Do you want it via email or do you want it via phone? And that's the end of the process. So what do I look like when I look at my account? I can then jump into the next slide, which will show me that dashboard. So there I am, Mary's Bakery. I'm on Main Street, Castries in St. Lucia, and it shows me all aspects of my account. But one more thing I think Google is going to show me is just one click away. Kathy? Yep, I know. I discovered Google told me that there are other businesses like my own within 3.2 kilometers away. I'm going to have to check that company out to see if there's any competition for Mary's Bakery. But that said, if you're not already online, see how easy that was? Go online and register with Google My Business. I hope these few tools were useful to you. I wish you all very much all the success during this time. And Kathy, it's over to you.
Thank you, Marlene. Okay, so I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on social media and the state of social, and then I'm going to give you a quick 6-step process on how to set up a successful business promotion on social media. So the state of social. According to Statista, there are about 22 million users, active social media accounts in the Caribbean. And for the purpose of this visual, I eliminated markets like Dominican Republic, Cuba, and so forth. So you could see what it would really be like in our neck of the woods. So what does this really mean? It means that with this increase that we're seeing in activity on social media, this is really the audience that you need to target, and you need to decide how you're going to market to this audience within the next few months. So I love this visual. I think a lot of people do. I mean, who doesn't love donuts, right? So here you go. This explains the social sites in a bit of detail for you. Nice visual. So we can see right away that Instagram is the highly visual network. It's all about experiences. While Facebook gives you a bit more detail or in-depth information about your business. LinkedIn is where you can use what you can use to talk about your skills. And Twitter is great for giving updates on your business. And what does this also mean for you? After you've chosen the network you want to be on, then you have to choose the type of content you want to post. Okay, so here are some great content types. We all know about text and photos and videos, but there are also polls and contests you can run. So these are great if you want to drive engagement on your page. If you're a blogger, you can actually put your blog information on Facebook and LinkedIn. It's a great platform for those two. Everybody's going live now. Lily and Sophie were talking about going live and providing tutorials. I'm seeing so many brands doing this right now. Even my favorite makeup brand, she did a webcast over the weekend and she partnered with somebody else. It was great information. Then we're seeing people also providing links to articles. So if there's a particular brand that you follow, you want to link to the articles, you can do that. Then you can do things like put customer service alerts on your page. And then with the introduction of stories on Instagram and Facebook, it's great for really providing an engagement tool for your customers to share your content. And what I realized too is that there's a COVID-19 update type post you can use. So if you want to give people quick updates on what's going on with your business, now is no better time to do it, because really and truly people need to know what's happening. They don't want to be running around. There's social distancing. Some people are still at home. So you have to be mindful of that. So now that we've talked about the networks and understanding the types of content, I want to leave you with a couple of tips on how to set up a great business page. So a couple of things. You need to make sure that the business name, the name you choose for your page is unique to your business, and it should represent you. You need to use your logo as well when you brand your page. It needs to have a strong call to action, whether it's message you, shop, or call. You need to make sure you put a comprehensive description of your business. So that's great for searching. So when people are trying to find your business, making sure you have a complete description of your business right there. And it also helps to tell your story. Make sure you add your products and the location and hours of operation. Now, this is especially important now with lockdowns, and some people now coming out of lockdown. People need to know what your hours of operation are and where you're located, that they can get to you to pick up quickly and get back home. You need to post regularly, so keep your audience engaged, but don't overwhelm them. But experiment with different content, different types of content. So this is so great because you get to really play and have a little fun with this. And then use the analytics to help track your performance. So how are your posts performing? How engaged is your audience? Then looking at creating an ad account. Now, ad accounts are available only for business pages. So when you do set up your page, make sure that you check that option for the network you're choosing, and you'll get access to some great advertising tools. And speaking of advertising, why should you advertise in the first place? Now, post-COVID-19, we're seeing the cost of social media advertising actually falling. We've actually taken advantage of this in the last couple of months ourselves at Sagicor, and we've been doing a lot of heavy promotion around the content we've been pushing out, as well as some new products and services that we're launching. So I encourage you to take advantage of this. Also, organic posts, or what we call non-promoted posts, only reach about 2% of your audience. So you need to bear that in mind, that if you have a large audience, only 2% are going to see your organic posts. You need to measure the results of your advertising. So it's so great with the advertising platform. It gives you lots of charts. You can see how your ads are performing. And the beauty of this all is that you can do it yourself. You don't need to hire an agency necessarily to do it for you.
And for this, I'm going to talk about, also, you might think it is expensive to do it, but it really isn't. So I'm going to show you what $50 US gets you over a 10-day period. $50 will allow you to reach 55,000 people in Barbados, 73,000 people in Trinidad and Tobago, and 108,000 people in St. Lucia. Now that's a lot of people. You can't get those kind of numbers with traditional advertising at all. So I'm going to talk just about the two main networks that I encourage you to advertise on if you're interested in advertising, simply because it is simpler to set up the campaigns and it's more cost effective for you. So these types of these ad formats that you see here from Facebook are great for engaging your audience. We've used the photo and video one a lot. I've used at least 6 of these 7 in my own industry as well. One of the things I want to call out to you, if you're a retail store, the collection ads are great because you can actually showcase your products very nicely with this one. You get a large image or video and then 4 smaller images that customers can easily click on to see more about your products and services. So if you don't have a website, this is a great tool for you to get on board really quickly. Also, if you're a consulting firm or a service-oriented business, the lead form is actually great. So you can capture customers' information directly on Facebook. So your customers don't leave and go to a website. They can actually give you their information directly there. You can download the information directly from Facebook. It comes down as an Excel spreadsheet, and then you can use that to do your own marketing. And that's kind of the data that Henri was referring to before. Instagram is also, they also have a nice robust ad platform. And the good thing about when you set up an ad account with Facebook, it gives you access to advertise on Instagram as well. And these ads here, they're very similar to how Facebook ads work as well. But the one I want to call out here is the stories ad, because that gives you a really experiential feeling when you actually click on it. So your customers get that really interactive experience. They feel as though they're immersed in the content. And it's so interactive that you can encourage them to swipe up on your stories to do more, either to see your IGTV video, or if you have more than 10,000 followers, you can actually send them to a landing page. So these are some really cool ad formats. I've used at least the first 3 of them. We haven't experimented with the stories one yet, but for sure I'm going to be using it very soon. I'm going to talk just quickly about LinkedIn, not from an advertising perspective, but more about setting up a profile. And you might wonder why I'm pushing this or I'm telling you about it. Well, think about it. If you're a hairdressing salon or florist, your clients are on LinkedIn. They're professionals, they're getting their hair done, they're buying flowers for their significant others, and so on. So here's where you really can sell yourself. Start with a strong headline. Talk about who you are in that headline. That's your first opportunity to make a good impression. Use a professional quality photo. If you do blog, make sure you push some of your articles in the post section. It's great, and you can use multiple formats here as well. And use specific keywords about your business in the summary, because that helps again with searching. So if people are trying to find you, make sure you put those keywords in there. And also for your skills, make sure that you can put your specific skills, list them clearly, and then ask for recommendations. So here's 6 steps on how to run a successful social media promotion. This is something that I've put into play almost every day. So I want to share my experience with you. So we start with step 1. Define your business goal. This is the most important part. If you don't get this right, nothing else will work. So essentially what you're looking to do here is to decide who you're targeting, where they are, what is the goal? Are you driving business? Are you looking to build awareness? You need to make sure you go through that part of it first. The second step is to choose the network you want to be on. Now, I talked a lot about the 4 main ones. There are other networks you can choose, but you need to understand which one works for your business. Third one, now create a social media calendar. So this is great for building out your content, and make sure you have a nice balance of product content and emotional and helpful content about people doing some nice tutorial videos. Those are great. Then get creative again. I talked about pushing your photos, your videos, and experimenting with those different post types. Check the results. 3 days into your campaign, make sure you check in and see what's happening. If it's not working, then you need to do some optimization. So you need to refine your audience targeting, maybe. Maybe your creative isn't resonating with your audience, or you might need to put a little bit more money into the budget. So these are just some 6 little steps that you can use. And as you can see, it's a circle. So the reason it's a circle is because you keep doing this over and over. So I'm going to hand over to Eric now, who's just an overview about some quick content creation resources. Over to you, Eric.
Thanks, Kathy. So yeah, we're just going to look at a couple quick resources here because we understand that not everyone has the resources to invest in a production suite, a studio, or you know, a very expensive camera or video editing software. So I'm just going to take you through some examples here. There we go. So these tools are all free. Almost all of them are available on both Android and Apple. So let's take a look at them. So a color story is a great, easy way to enhance your photos. It has a little bit more option than what's actually just built into your phone or built into Instagram or Facebook. With Mojo, it's a great way to animate your stories. One thing with Facebook they always recommend is that some kind of motion is always better than none. So being able to have a quick tool is to add some kind of motion to your images is great. With Canva, you're actually able to add some designs, some templates to your photos and video. With Over, it's also another template option. So this would also be a good option if you're looking to template multiple images with your branding on it. With Quick is actually designed for GoPro specific. So if you happen to capture a lot of content on GoPro, this is a great option for you. With Story Boost, you're able to create some templates and add a little bit more to your stories, give them that little bit more pop. With Type Shop, again, make your static images have a little bit more pop to them, and this will animate some text. So just having some kind of movement can go a long way. And then lastly, Video Shop. You don't need to invest in an Adobe product necessarily. On your phone, you could record, cut, and edit and upload all from one device. So these are a great suite of tools to have on every smartphone, and I think they're a great starting point.
Thank you so very much. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So I just have a few key takeaways there that we just want to wrap up with. So align your social media strategy with your overall business strategy. That's a very important starting step. Take advantage of all the free tools available. Capitalize on the current low advertising costs. And remember that the mobile experience has never been more important. And lastly, strive to reduce friction in the purchase cycle. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so very much, Eric, Kathy, and Marlene. At this time, we will turn over to Q&A, and you may ask questions of any member of the panel, including our guest panelists. There were some questions already coming in, so I'll jump straight into some of them. Before I go into the questions, there were a lot of persons asking if we'll be able to share the information, and we'll actually be setting up a LinkedIn group. And I will ask Kathy to speak a little more about it, and I will encourage everybody to follow us on LinkedIn so you can be a part of this group. This group will be exclusive to the attendees to today's webinar, and this is a good way to network. The presentations will also be there, and the recording of today's session will also be there. Kathy, you want to speak a little more about it? We have been trying to come up with a name for the group, because we don't want to just call it a small business webinar. We want a name that's, you know, enticing and creative. Kathy?
Yeah, sure, and Ingrid. It's still a work in progress, but the names that I've been playing around with might be like the Small Business Hub, because I think that it could be a great opportunity to network together and share experiences, share stories, and really learn from each other. I think it's a great opportunity for all the small businesses who have actually joined us today, and do share your stories with us. We're also going to be having not to jump the gun here, but we're also going to be featuring small businesses on our social media pages as well. So the Small Business Saturday segment, do look out for that. So let us know if you want to be a part of it. So do join the LinkedIn group, because there's going to be lots of resources posted there, including takeouts from this particular webinar today.
Can you remind them of the LinkedIn number to join?
Sure. So our LinkedIn page is called Sagicor Financial Corporation. But the LinkedIn group is going to be Sagicor's Small Business Hub. So look out for it on LinkedIn.
So I would encourage everybody, and again, it will be exclusive to all the participants at this webinar. It's a good way to network, talk to each other, share business tips, and also to look at the presentations from today. Kathy, you touched a little bit about the Small Business Saturday feature. If you could just talk a little bit more about it quickly, please.
Sure. So what we're trying to do is to bring some exposure to the small business community. And we understand that during COVID-19, everybody's having a really hard time, some more than others. Some are thriving, some not so much. So what we would love to do is give you the opportunity to promote your business using our social platforms. So what we're encouraging you to do is to share your content with us. We're going to help you package it up together and we'll post it on our pages and then encourage our community to interact with it and share it. It's going to be an interesting dynamic in this new normal, but we have to help each other out, and that's just what it is.
So that is every Saturday, a feature in a small business where you can learn more about each other's business and how you can support each other. Kathy, they were asking the LinkedIn name again, if you could just say that very quickly.
Sorry, the Sagicor Financial Corporation is our LinkedIn page, but the name of the group is going to be Sagicor Small Business Hub.
Perfect, thank you. Thanks to everybody who've been sending such positive feedback about today's webinar. It's really appreciated. Asha, there was a question for you. Please elaborate on how one can equip suppliers with the right tools to be the voice of your brand.
Okay, thanks, Ingrid. Okay, so I think this came from Rachel. So Rachel, thanks for that question. I'm just going to give you 3 quick points. One is training and setting expectations for the supplying. To start with that, you need to give them a proper training on everything that you want them to do, including the use of your brand. And that goes into point 2, which is templates. So you are going to give them templates in terms of what they should say to your clients using the voice that you want to use. So what is that exact wording? If it is, for example, that involves some sort of delivery service, they should wear your brand. They should be properly presented the way that you would like. And that's just the tipping point from inside of there. The third thing I would say is providing them with videos. So for example, if they're dealing with your clients, you don't have to rely on them to explain a product to a client. They instead can present this video, and that in that way, your brand will be consistent. There's a lot more, but I'll wrap it up from there. Ingrid, you are unmuted at this moment.
Thanks, Asha. Kathy, I was asking if you could stop sharing the presentation so they could see the persons that are responding to the questions. Thank you. This question is from Marlene. Marlene or Kathy, what is a suggestion for WhatsApp for Business if you have 2 businesses and you use the same number? How do you decide what name to put and the wording for automatic responses? Kathy or Marlene, this question was directed to you.
I'll take it, Ingrid. If you're sharing one number, you need to be mindful that you're also sharing one brand and one image in that one moment that you're posting. So with one, you have to be able to manage and separate your clients, maybe set up subgroups within your WhatsApp for Business so that you can communicate your different messages. Automated responses should be short, to the point, and always very polite. Commit to getting back to them within a certain time frame, and always, always, always keep your promise.
Thanks, Marlene. This question is for Caroline. Janine, my name is Janine and my company is called Black Collar Creative Limited in Trinidad. Networking has been a huge part of business building for me during the COVID-19 period thus far. I have been doing gratis consultation services as a way to help and also to build relationships and learn about business problems. What is the tipping point between a free offer on the COVID-19 and a selling connection for a deeper service? Any tips? I hope we got that correctly. Caroline?
So I think what you're trying to ask is, where does getting your foot in the door stop and starting to actually monetize that relationship start? And I think you have to draw the line based on your time investment, because at the end of the day, if you do an initial, as you say, gratis consultation for them, and you give them information where they need to do some more with you in order to really solve their problem, and they're not willing to go further, then you need to approach another company, because there are some companies and some people who will keep going as long as you keep going. So it's people who appreciate your work, and you can tell the people who appreciate your work, because they won't take it for granted. I hope that helps.
Thank you. We have about 10 more minutes to wrap up. This question is for Weed Fetch. How are you making money with no vendor fees? And I'm assuming that there are RBC bank fees to be paid for the use of their payment platform. How is this being done? Is Lily and Sophie still here?
I see Sophie still on. Sophie, are you muted?
Hi, yeah, sorry, I didn't hear the question properly. What was it?
They were asking, how do you make money since you have RBC fees? And if you could give some guidance on, sorry, I'm trying to find about the question. I think because you told them that you don't mark up the things that you're delivering, so they're curious as to how you make money.
Okay, I mean, there's obviously many streams that we can make money from. We obviously charge delivery fees, so that is one cost that customer takes on when using our service. So we earn on delivery fees. As you're aware of, like how many websites operate, there's people can dabble into commission structures, discount structures, everything like that. So it's definitely ways to make money on the website without having to push that to the consumer, without having to push it. There's wiggle room to make money on both ends.
Thank you, Sophie. Kathy, I think this question is for you. Can you define what is organic post? I think you talked about it during your presentation. Was it you or Eric? I'm not sure.
Sure, no worries. An organic post is essentially just a normal post that you haven't added any budget to promote it. So a normal post, video, photos, whatever it is termed as organic by Facebook or Instagram. And the way that they give preferential treatment to certain things depends on the type of post it is. But if you add budget to it, it becomes a promoted post or boosted post.
I have a follow-up. There's a question. What type of ads are better for a party supplies shop?
Okay, so party supply, you can do two things. You can do the collection ad, because then you can showcase the individual products, or you can do the instant experience. So you can almost show like people at a party seeing, interacting with your products and services, or even if you film one of your clients using your services, you can actually use that video as part of your ad. So you give your potential clients the experience that they will have. So those are two really good tools you could use. And those work on both Facebook and Instagram.
All right, there are a lot of persons. Thank you, Kathy. Thanking the presenters for their ideas and encouragement. And I can tell you that this will not be the last webinar. We will continue to host this webinar and to also give other small business owners the opportunity to talk about how they are surviving and thriving during COVID. There's a question that says, does Sagicor offer loans to help startup or propel small business owners? And what I will say is we were very deliberate with this webinar that it wasn't about selling anything from Sagicor. We wanted this webinar to be about giving tips and ideas and then having persons being able to network and learn from maybe some of what things that we're doing and from some of the marketing persons who are experts in their field, rather than coming to just sell you something. Further down, we could have another webinar on financial advice and financial tips, but not for this one. This one we wanted to just be about you guys. Let me just see some other questions. Somebody's asking if you could email the link for the small business group. There's no email. You just need to go on LinkedIn, search for Sagicor Financial Corporation. Kathy, I'm assuming that the new group will be there?
It'll be there by tomorrow, for sure.
Okay, perfect. And this question is for Eric. The app for enhancing your images is in a template. What was the name of it?
That one was called Over. Canva can also do some design templates as well, but Over is the one specifically for image templates.
All right, and this question, thank you, Eric. This question, it was said that the LinkedIn Group Small Business Hub would be exclusive to persons who attended this webinar. Will the link for this group be distributed via email? I think, Kathy, you just answered that one.
Yes.
Somebody's saying that they can't find the group on LinkedIn. It's not set up yet because we hadn't decided on a name. Kathy said by tomorrow it will be there. So give us until maybe about 10 o'clock tomorrow, Kathy.
Yeah, by 10 tomorrow, it'll be available.
All right. this person said, my name is Anita Williams of Caribbean Holiday Apartment in Antigua. I am a novice to LinkedIn. So my question is, how do I find my ideal customers on this site? Kathy, you want to take that?
Sure, no problem. So the business is in the travel industry. So your ideal customers would be basically anyone on there. What you would probably look to do is look for persons within, because LinkedIn gives you the types of jobs as well as this level of seniority. So you could use that as a targeting tool to see, okay, maybe somebody who is maybe you never know. I mean, you have entrepreneurs, you have people who are at the high senior level, those would be your market. But it's such a wide market there for the travel industry because basically everybody travels now. So you could focus on that.
Thanks. Maybe I'm going to ask Greg to answer this one from St. Lucia Business Execute Tradescraft. I hope I'm pronouncing it properly. As a startup business doing custom made craft, what advice do you have with regards to changing your niche market? Greg, still there? Seem to have lost him.
So yeah, I'm
Okay.
hearing Grid. Right. So the question was changing your niche market. So I would say if they're really doing custom craft, that I wouldn't really venture too far from that at this point in time. What they should be doing is probably investing in a little bit more of that marketing to look for some new customers. They can also decide whether they're, obviously, I don't know if they're focused on local, regional, or international type market. If they are focused on an international type market, then they can work along with the international courier companies and work out some economical logistics and shipping. And as people, not just here, but worldwide, are not able to travel, that's how you get your product out to them.
Thank you. So, and this question, feel free, anyone of the panelists, feel free to answer this. Any advice on marketing and event management company during these COVID times? Carolyn, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one.
Well, I actually smiled when I saw the question because there's so many people doing virtual events right now. And I think one of the reasons why Ingrid smiled is because I really enjoyed the event by Versus recently with Bounty Killer and Beanie Man, and that was televised with 7 million people worldwide, including some major superstars. So in terms of the event business, you need to craft things now that can happen online. And then you need to find ways to monetize that event because you don't just want to have an event. You want to make money from the event. So depending on what kinds of events you do, you can look for a brand who is looking to increase their sales at this time. All brands are looking to get sales back on the road. So for example, if you do, late night parties, you can find an alcohol brand that is willing to partner with you. Find some artists that have their own following that can partner with you, and therefore all of your decor and ambiance and all the things you do to pull an event together, it happens in the location, but it's now streamed to a much larger audience than you could actually have in that one location. So I think you have to kind of very much get creative, but at the end of the day, you can have a virtual event, but find a partner so that you can monetize that event.
Thank you. It's so interesting because we were talking today about doing a virtual expo where you can have persons showcasing their wares and their business using social platform. We have to wrap up. I'm just going to go to 2 more questions. This is Delia from, didn't say from where. Is Trello an effective tool to use to aid with project management, time management, and activity scheduling tasks in a make money online affiliate marketing business model? I don't know what Trello is, so I'll turn to the experts in social media. Who wants to take that?
I'm not familiar with that platform myself.
So
We
Trello
use
is a
Trello.
similar, it's similar to Asana. It's similar to some of the aspects of Teams. It's basically project management, collaboration, etc. So I think generally speaking, it would depend. Generally, there are little nuances between those competing apps. And sometimes some of them are better for larger groups. Some of them are better when you have large files to collaborate with, etc. I think what you can do is type into Google apps like Trello, you'll get a few competitors, and then type in compare and look at, you know how they do a side-by-side comparison. This one gives you this and that, etc. But our team has tried a few, and we've settled on Teams. But I find there's nothing like actually trying it to understand if it really works for how you work daily. And most of them have a free trial period. So if you're diligent and you don't like it, you just make sure that you cancel within the first month.
And just to follow up on what Carolyn was saying, sorry, Ingrid, within my team, we've used Asana, and I can tell you it works well, particularly for the graphic designer on my team. I send all the work to him via Asana. So he's able then to see when his deadlines are, when he has to get back to the client, which is internal in this case. So it's a great tool for managing your internal projects within your business. So I would recommend using it, and it is free. So we're using the free version, and we've not had any issues with it. It's very good.
Thank you. We have to wrap up, but as we said, this is about networking, and we will have other opportunities for other persons to network and showcase their business. Before we wrap up, I'm just going to ask Julian and Lily and Sophie if they could again give their, sorry, my dog is going crazy, give their contact information. Hold on. If they could just give their contact information again, bearing in mind that this recording will be on LinkedIn, so anybody that missed all of that will be able to go back and look. But Julian, Sophie, and Lily, if you could just give your contact information very quickly again.
Sure. So
Yeah.
the easy contact information, you can go to my website, juliangreg.com. I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm the only Julian Greg, G-R-E-I-G, here in the Caribbean. And you can reach me on julian.wgc@gmail.com. And beyond that, if you're local or calling from the region, 246-253-7460, and you'll get through to me. That's it.
Lily and Sophie, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's just me on the line, but you can contact either Lily or I with our generic email, which is info@wefetch.com, which is wifetch.com. We're also on all the social media channels. We have our Instagram handle, which is the same thing, @wefetch. My email address is sophie@wefetch. Lily's is lily@wefetch. We're keeping it very simple. And yeah, we can also visit our website, which has a lot of information and a comment box as well, which is www.wifetch.com.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Sophie. I want to thank all my Sagicor peers, Asha, Honoré, Carolyn, Marlene, Kathy. Thanks to Eric from Gray for joining us today. I hope you guys got something from this webinar. Kathy, the final question, they're asking if you could email. Do you have the email for everybody who participated, that you could send them the LinkedIn name and for them how to, and give them guidance on how to join that group? Because I see other questions about that.
No worries. Once we have their email, we can send them the information. It's quite easy.
All right. I will end by somebody made a comment that if they did anything productive today, it was attending this webinar. I think on behalf of the entire panel, that warms our heart. Thank you guys so very much for joining, and we'll see you next time. And remember to follow us on LinkedIn to ensure that you can be featured on our weekly small business feature. Thank you all again so very much for joining. Thanks to our guests, and have a great rest of the week and be safe. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Bye. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Be safe, be successful, everyone. Bye.